Hi, it's Elisabeth Dawson, and we're talking about family financial freedom. So one of the questions that I was given this week was, what are the financial aspects or the questions we should ask ourselves about buying our first family car? So this is different. I have a son that's 21, just went and recently saw him, and he has the vehicle that I've been paying for or had paid for over his lifetime since he was 16. It feels like a lifetime, but now he and his little significant other, they're thinking about purchasing a different car. So now it's their first family car that they want to buy. What does it look like? There's always questions about buying or leasing. Now, I've talked to, accountants, CPAs, tax professionals out there, and it just depends. So leasing was originally designed many, many years ago for businesses and businesses to be able to get the maximum amount of deduction that they could on leasing that equipment or leasing that vehicle or that truck. So it wasn't necessarily designed for the average consumer, if you will. So think about this because I'll kind of tell you an experience. Again, back to my son. So I listened to an accountant, which I was taking great advice, but from a business standpoint, I decided to lease his truck. Well, after 3 years, there is a residual, right? And a lot of people decide, do I want to keep the vehicle or do I want to trade it in for a new vehicle? Well, in our family, what we like to do is kind of own our vehicles for a little while because there's such a lost opportunity cost in taking a car, trading it in, getting a new car, and it's this huge life cycle that every single year it seems, or every couple of years, it seems that those prices are going higher and higher. That payment for that vehicle is going higher and higher, and we're doing everything we can to justify it. So if you think about it like this, what's the average lifespan of a vehicle? Well, if you think it's more than 5 years, then maybe you should think about financing for 5 years versus leasing, because you know that the payoff on a lease is much higher than a 3 years down into the road of that actual loan payment. But it is true, a loan payment's going to be a little bit more expensive than leasing a vehicle, but if you know that you want better trade-in value, if you are going to turn that car in 2 or 3 or 4 years, then you want to have a less residual and you want to have more equity in that vehicle so that you can actually afford to have, good, consistent cash flow. Because so many people I talk to, they will justify having a higher payment. So therefore, lifestyle has to get more and more, and we have to have more money to support those things. Whether it's a vehicle, you have to think about the car insurance attached to it. You have to think about the deductibles. You have to think about that protection for your family. But really think about this collectively as a couple, as a partnership, and look at your finances and see what can I really afford and what has been a good modest payment, to now, and what do I consistently want to do. Now just know this, if you do a lease, it's going to get higher. If you do a actual loan payment, you're probably going to control your costs. So think about those things. And also with car insurance, when it comes to a lease, usually car insurance is higher too because your limits of liability have to be higher because you're really renting the car from, the vehicle company that you purchased it from. So think about those things. If you need an analysis to look at what your situation fits best and you want to ask us, feel free to reach out at 619-640-2622. No two people, no two businesses, no two entities out there are ever the same. So your situation might be completely unique and different. So again, stay tuned for more of these types of topics in the future days to come. We can't wait to get your feedback. Thanks for listening. The information provided in this show is for informational and educational purposes only. This show is not investment advice, nor is it intended to address the financial needs of any particular viewer. The opinions expressed on this show are not intended to be an endorsement of any particular investment strategy or service of any other kind. You must make an independent decision regarding investments or strategies mentioned throughout the show. Before acting on information in this show, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular situation and strongly consider seeking advice from a financial advisor.